what is recommended is to have something like this. You need an environment, so you create that. So you're gonna have to do that. This is your project. This is the parent directory. This is your project. Okay, that's your project. So you create the first directory, and then here you have dev, you have staging or stage, and then here you have prod. And after that, you create another directory. These will be modules. In our case, we're gonna just have EC2, and we'll also have security group. Security group. You can give it names, whatever you want. And the other thing that we need to create is a back-end setup. So you can do it however you want to do it, right? And every file, every directory should have at least these files here: main tf, variables tf, and you need Terraform tfvars file. So everything should have that. You see here, it's gonna go here. You're gonna have the same files here. There'll be also in here. There'll be also in here and in here. Okay, and then the backend also, you're gonna have the same thing here. So this is kind of like the best practice, and that's what I'm gonna show you. We're gonna create the same infrastructure, but instead of using one file, we'll use this project structure. And why? Why do we need to use such a project structure? The reason is, when you want to work, when you want to, I mean, it's gonna be consistent first across a variety of environments, meaning that what you have in dev, you can deploy it in stage, you can deploy it in prod. You don't need to change anything. And when you have this, the only files that you may be worried about would be like these two here. But more importantly, it's just gonna be the tfvars files. So those are the ones that you have to be worried about. Those are the ones that you have to change, because they defines the values that you give to the different variables. Okay, so they defines the value that you give to the different variables. I'm gonna move on, and then we move on. We are going to use the best practice to utilize Terraform, and I'm gonna show it to you now. So let's go back to our command line here. I'm gonna clear my screen, and always validate when you destroy something. Go to the instances, and you see here it says terminated. Okay, so we go back to our command line. I'm gonna get out of this, and if I ls, so I want to use the best practice. The dev here, it's like one step closer to the best practice, away from what's not recommended. Okay, so go to best practice, clear the screen, and this is what we have here. So if you do tree backend, so in the backend we have this main tf file to create our S3 bucket, and then we're gonna store the Terraform state file instead of our local machine. It's gonna go to that bucket. All right, and the only thing that you need to change here would be the Terraform files. So I'm gonna go here. We're gonna need to move into the backend, clear the screen, and that's what we have. And we will need to change that here. So we're gonna look at that, and these are the things that you need to change. And one of the best practices, export this file, or the values stored on this file, onto your local machine instead of putting that on GitHub. So you don't, these are sensitive pieces of information. So you look at this, you're gonna change these values here. You're gonna change these values. Like here, I can change this one to be T2S Terraform backend. So I can change that here, and just to give you an example here, so Terraform log. So I'm gonna change that to be T2S. All right, and then Control X, then saved. So we've done that, and we follow the process. So we're gonna initialize first, because first you create your backend, your remote backend, and after you create that, you are going to then go ahead and create the rest of your infrastructure. So you're gonna create the rest of your infrastructure, and here I will just say apply, because Terraform apply will give you a chance to review your infrastructure. So you're gonna have to read this and review it. Type in yes once it's what you want it to look like. So I'm gonna say yes, enter, and it's gonna create our S3 bucket and then our Dynamo DB table lock. So if you go to your console here, and here we still have that we created, the instance we created and deleted. Excuse me. We're gonna go to S3. You'll see the bucket here. It's gonna be T2S. You see we changed the name here, T2S. Then I click on it. There's nothing in here. But the Terraform file, once we provision our infrastructure, the Terraform file will be stored instead of our local machine, like what we did with that test directory. It's gonna go to our remote backend storage option here. So go back to the command line, and that's done. I'm gonna move up to go to now. First, let's verify. So we have our T2S created, and now we need to check on the DynamoDB table, see if it's created. It's created. So this is created, and then so far we have nothing here. Indexes, we have nothing here. So we go back to let me duplicate this so that we have the S3 bucket also open, and then the EC2 instance. We're gonna have it also open. It's different windows, so we have 3 windows here. So we have the instances here, and there's nothing running at this point, except if you had unchecked that, except the one that we terminated. Let's go back to the command line. And how do you provision this infrastructure? Well, you do, because first you make sure that you have your remote backend set up, meaning that you go into this directory, initialize, plan, and then apply the configuration files. And now we need to go to the environment. So we don't need to touch the modules, because the environment, when we are in the dev will be calling on these modules here. Let's do this here. Here you see the modules, we have 2, because this is a very simple infrastructure, just an EC2 instance and security groups, as I said. But in most cases, you're gonna have a more complex infrastructure, so the list will be very long here. The list will be long. We need to go to the environment, and in the environment we have 3 environments: dev, stage, and prod. But we're gonna focus first on dev. So we are in the dev environment, and then ULS, you see we have the files here. And when you cat main file, you see it's gonna call on the modules here, all right? But we added these resources because I wanted to create the PEM key also in this environment, which will be used for in case we want to access the machines. All right. So let's do init. Always initialize, and we're getting an error here. Security group failed to get existing workspace. S3 bucket does not exist. So there may be something wrong with the name of our backend. So let's check here. So we're gonna go here. So you see here, you remember I changed the name to be, I'll show it to you here. You see the name to be T2S instead of my. You see, instead of my, like on here. You see my? But then here we have T2S. So you have to pay attention to some of these syntax. Every time you make a change, make sure that it reflects on every other file in case you need that value. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna clear my screen, and I'm gonna change this file here so that the name of the backend is as it should be. All right. And when I do this, Terraform init, it should work now because the name of the backend is correct. All right. The name of the backend is correct. And we're gonna, if you go back, we go back to here. Now we will not see anything yet until when we apply these configuration files. And Terraform, what it will do is to say, okay, so your provider is AWS. It's gonna say, okay, so you want an infrastructure on AWS that matches the configurations that you have on your Terraform files. That's what it's gonna do. So if the infrastructure on Terraform files does not match the infrastructure on AWS, then Terraform will create that so that there's always a matching. Okay, so that's the state of your the resources and components of your infrastructure you want to be in. All right, back here to our command line. I'm gonna clear my screen, and now I'll try to validate to see if my syntax is okay. I don't think did I do it? No, I don't remember. So it success, and then I'll just go to the apply and then review my infrastructure. So you're gonna have to review this, and you see the name. It's gonna be dev. That's security group, and up here, this is the security group. And this is the instance that will be created using this AMI and all the other properties that we defined as part of our configuration file. And then the PAM key will be created, and we'll store the key on our system here. And I'll just type in yes to say I'm okay with the preview here, and enter. Wait to see the magic. Let's go back to our console. We're gonna go to to here. If you refresh this, this is our Terraform lock. So probably not much to see here for now. But when you go to the back end, when you refresh it, you should see the dev directory. All right. In the dev directory, you're gonna have the Terraform state file. Here it is. And if you click on it, depending on the permissions that you have set on it, you should be able to see your file here, and you're gonna have to adjust the access. You're gonna have to give yourself access to open it. So if you download it, it's on like a JSON document here. Let me see here. So give me a moment. Let me see if I can open it. So you download it on your system, then you should be able to see it. Let's go to, let me show you my entire screen, if I can see it, if I can do it. Let me see, full monitor. So I'm gonna change this to TextMate. So this is what I just downloaded. Okay, I just download the file from the website, from Amazon, and that's your Terraform state file, and it has every single piece of information about every single component of your infrastructure. And you don't want this to be on your employees' local machines or anybody. It should stay in a safe place, and that is why we use the Terraform. We use the backend. So we've created, and if you ls, you don't see it here. It's nowhere here. But if you go back to the test, what we used before, you ls, you're gonna see it's here. You don't need this locally, but this is the best practice. So it has to be stored some other place. Let's go back now to we're gonna go back to our environment here. So we're here, and we go to check to make sure that we have our system running. You have the dev web app, and what we're gonna do, we're gonna click here, we're gonna connect, just like what we did before. So you're gonna connect, and the first thing is to change permissions of your key, and then you enter the SSH command, login, yes. We're gonna do the same thing like what we did before. So we're gonna update the system. You see, it's working. So we did the same thing the bad way, but now we're doing it. We've done it the best way, and this is the best practice. This is what you use at work. This is when you get a job. This is what you show to people who interview you for a Terraform position or any DevOps or cloud positions that require Terraform skill sets. This is the best way to do it. And there may be another best way, but this is what I know. This is what I will recommend you to use, okay? And so the point is, when you come here, the only file that you change, it's this one here. Depending on the environment where you want to deploy or provision this infrastructure. And the next thing you need to do is to destroy. So you're gonna have to destroy. So destroy, always destroy. That's to clean up. So you're gonna have to clean up, making sure that your infrastructure is, the unused resources are not on your system, on your account, in your account, and you don't get charged for all of those resources that you don't even need. So you're gonna have to refresh and see and wait until when you see everything gone. So do that so that you don't get charged. And see here, it's shutting down. That's good. That's a good sign. And wait until when it's terminated. And looking at your command line, still processing. So you're gonna have to wait until when it says this destroy. See here, destroy complete. Resources 5 destroyed. And this is the end of this video. And my friend, this is how you use Terraform the best way to provision any kind of infrastructure. And this may be on AWS or Google, Azure, Alibaba, IBM, or Oracle Cloud, or any other cloud computing platform. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, just reach out to me, drop a question in the comment box, and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Like and share this video to help somebody else out. Thank you again. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.